This is Angela Grayson from the Loving Life Fitness Podcast to help others in their fitness journey. All possible.
It's time to wake up. Here we go.
Everyone, this is Angela Grayson coming at you from the Loving Life Fitness Podcast, where I talk to professionals and everyday people about their life in health and fitness and maybe how they help to inspire others to live their best life. Today we have with us Jen Giblin. I met her at a local dance studio. And my gosh, Jen has so much to offer, and I just want to give you a little bit about her background before we get started. She has over 25 years of experience in performance arts, counselor education, psychotherapy, life coaching, management, and event planning. And her dance career began in adolescence on dance performance teams. She continued her performing arts career by working and performing with the Walt Disney World Company in entertainment and appeared in WDW national televised productions. Wow, that sounds really cool. So Jennifer continued her career by gaining her master's degree and became a licensed professional counselor and life coach and received her educator's certification. She's worked as a clinical director, a program developer, event coordinator, and educator for private agencies and the state of Florida. And she's also trained in business management. But in her spare time, her hobbies have included competing in marathons, triathlons, and seeking her doctorate of ministry in spiritual and intuitive studies. In recent years, Jennifer has renewed her love of music and movement by joining her local dance community and becoming a partner of JJ's Fusion Studio. What a resume you have. Hi, Jen.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you on. I came to your studio and I just enjoy what you teach there. It's just so much fun and insightful, and I see how you're getting other people to really enjoy the art form of dance.
Well, thank you so much. It's very exciting to be here, and I love talking about the benefits of dancing emotionally, health-wise. I just love it. Love it, love it.
Yes. So let's go back in your history when you were a little girl. And you started dancing when your passion started. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I have pictures and recordings and, of course, family stories of me being 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, getting up on stages at weddings and performing with the bands and dancing and singing with them. So apparently from the time I was little, I liked performing. And so that just continued. So through school, I performed on the dance team and flag corps and dance team, and I did a lot of things until I went into Disney. I went into entertainment. Of course, that was a lot of performing there in parades and shows. And actually, I traveled around the country going to children's hospitals, children with terminal illnesses, as characters doing shows for them, and worked with Give Kids the World in character entertainment. And when their last wish was to see the characters and go to Disney. So that was actually a very special time in my life that I really love. When I renewed my love of dance in the last few years, I really loved getting back into dancing. And I believe that my love of performing really comes from those years.
Very cool. Not everybody gets to do that. Walt Disney World. That's very amazing.
It was a wonderful time.
Yeah. Who was your inspiration to go off in this direction? I mean, I know you started when you were very young, but a lot of kids, they get bored with it, try different things. Did you have anybody or anything that inspired you in dance?
You know, I really had, my family was really instrumental in this. I have a little bit of a unique background. I don't have maybe the typical dance mentors that maybe another person would have, but we had a lot of family tragedies actually when I was young, and my family really relied on going to Disney to create happy moments through a lot of that. And so that really grew my love for the performing arts. I had loved dancing and performing anyway, being on all the dance teams. And actually, even with my triathlons and marathons, it was sort of a performance in itself, trying to get that first place or whatever place I was able to get. But in the performing aspect and working in entertainment, and that was really how that all came about. I went to college. Before that, I had been doing dance lessons, Latin dance lessons, fell in love with Latin dance and the Latin cultures. And so I had that background as well. So in the last few years, I really kind of see getting back into dance and movement as really being able to kind of relive my whole life of going into all these areas and getting back into all of that. It's been really nice. And as we talk more about what dance and dance can do for you, it'll all make sense of why dancing will bring us back to our earliest days and the joys of that.
Absolutely. So you were very involved in sports, track and field, like you said, marathons, triathlons. Wow. And your body up to this day still reflects that. You have an amazing, strong looking body. It looks beautiful. How do you think that being involved in sports helped you in dance?
Yes, that's a great question. And thank you for that. I felt very fortunate that I had a lot of my life was very physical that way. What my physical background and sports background has done for me in dance is really given me that core stability and given me the muscle tone to be able to do the dance movements.
So the muscles we use in sports versus the muscles that we use in dance. Some of them may be similar.
Some of them are similar.
But I'll use myself as an example here. I've always been into sports. I've always been into working out. I'm a personal trainer. And so, I've been involved in all that all my life. And now that I started taking dance, which is a little over a year ago, I started taking ballroom dancing. I don't have a dance background at all. So without having that, I feel like the muscles that I need to have for dance are a little bit, a lot of them are the same, but some of them are different. It's like my body does not want to move in certain ways. My core doesn't want, I have a strong core, but my body does not want to move in certain ways for dance.
Yes,
that's about that a little bit.
We absolutely can. Yes, we can dance. Well, we can dance about that. We can talk about that, definitely, because that is natural and normal. When we are athletes, our muscles are used to doing certain repetitive motions over and over and over and over for a certain sport. And so when we change that sport or that activity, we have strong muscles that contribute to those movements, but we now have to build up new muscles and different muscle movements. What's great about our bodies when we are involved with sports early on is that we are used to that conditioning. Our body and our muscles are used to being worked and conditioned to learn a movement. And so that's what's happening in dance, is you're conditioning your body to learn that movement. It's a different movement. It might be different muscles, but the sports body is used to doing that to learn those movements. So let's say, for example, I was a swimmer for many, many years. That's why I decided to do triathlons, because I had the swimming down packed, I had the running down packed. I just had to learn the biking. I had this similar experience with biking. My muscles were not used to the biking motion for so long and so fast, and it was pretty difficult. Same thing with dancing. There are certain movements that I don't have the flexibility for because I didn't start with ballet when I was young, like maybe some dancers. So I don't have that kind of dance background.
Yeah.
I have a dance background like a lot of people that start dancing now. Like I've done intermittent dance team in high school and things like that, but I didn't grow up in the ballet studio. So my muscles don't have the flexibility for certain motions that you might find you need in some of the dances, but it doesn't mean you can't develop it. So if we have an athletic body and we have neural networks in our brain that are built around working out and being physically fit, and our bodies know that it's going to move repetitively to learn how to do something. It's the very same thing dancing. We just have to get our bodies used to that, start using those muscles. And it's our core strength and the muscles already strong that are going to support the new learning.
Yeah. And I find that I have to immerse myself in it so much more than I ever expected. It's like going to dance class a couple of times a week is just not enough.
No, it's not. It's like training for a marathon. If you're going to do a 5K, you've got a plan of running like every morning and maybe taking 1 or 2 days off. Mm-hmm. So when I started on my dance journey again, I was in group classes every night, and then I went social dancing. So there might be 1 day a week I didn't dance. And that is what helped build all the stamina and all that new muscle memory for all the new movements. And when you have an athlete's body, you're used to that kind of conditioning, so that kind of conditioning is not as hard as someone who has never done any kind of like exercise. Now, that doesn't mean someone who isn't an athlete can't go dancing, because the wonderful thing of why dancing is so forgiving is because you can move however way you want. There's so many accommodations that you can make. You don't have to have an athletic background to start dancing. I mean, dancing involves walking steps, side steps, rock steps back and forth. They're things that we do in everyday life. So you don't have to have the athletic background to do dancing by any means.
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about the difference between the ballroom type dancing and free flow compared to structured.
Sure. Yes. So dance classes, dance studios, typical dance studios, you go to, you're learning structured dancing. It's learning movements, elements of dance, patterns, ways of positioning the body and the feet and the arms, versus creative improvisational dance, which is just allowing like the body to move however it wants. And then that can be guided by somebody. So an example of the free dancing would be like when we were all young and we went to the club just to dance and move our bodies. It's what you see people doing when they're just kind of moving their bodies to the beat and the rhythm, versus structured dance, where you're actually going to learn a pattern and what foot placements and where to put your weight and how to partner dance with somebody and do those steps. Mm-hmm. So that's really the difference with that. I'm going to keep going on with that because as I started and re-entered the performing arts journey through learning ballroom in the last few years, you know, it can be kind of stressful when you're like, oh, I need to learn how to do this correctly, right? But it's also really fun, especially people like to be challenged with something. Well, as I started doing that and I started learning the research on dancing, unbeknownst to me and unbelievably to me, and actually not unbelievably now, but it is so healthy for the brain, not only the body for exercise, but for the brain. And as I dived deeper into the research of dance, I actually started comparing it to other forms of exercise. Having been an athlete in the past, I wanted to see how it compared to running and swimming and all that. And I'm very interested in neuroscience, so I understand how neural pathways are developed. Dance is so healthy on every level, physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, because it uses all areas of the brain, unlike any other activity. And what I've learned through the research is a mix of structured dance with the mix of free-form movement or creative dance, just free moving. It's that mix that is the healthiest for the brain. You're using both hemispheres. And plus that, we have great music we're listening to, and we love music. So, our soul loves music. It's going to just dance to that. And what that does is it has amazing effects on memory and motor control and spatial awareness and just overall brain functioning. So there's been a study that has been done with like 500 people over years, and they studied that in 76% of that group, the mix of structured and creative free movement dance together decreased the rates of dementia and memory loss by 76%. I think it was 76% in the group, decreased it by 76%. Yeah. So it really has an amazing effect physically on all kinds of levels and in the brain. And I have actually a lot of articles on our website about that.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Yeah. So many years ago, I took classes in line dancing, and I went for 2 hours just once a week. And, and in line dancing, every song has a different dance. Mm-hmm. It's incredible. And the ladies there that had been going for such a long time, they were all older than me. They were incredible. They were so good at what they were doing. It was like no problem at all. And it took me like 3 months to finally start feeling comfortable to where I was learning. And they just kept on saying to me, just keep on going, just keep on coming, because that feeling can be so frustrating. It's like you can't figure it out. It's like, what's wrong with me? Why won't my brain connect with my feet? But what's going on there is what you were just talking about, the neuromuscular connection and the body, the brain working, okay, all those cells growing to get you to learn how to do it to the point where it's enjoyable.
Absolutely. And it's funny you say that about the, I can't get this part and that feeling. That's exactly why I've brought in the free movement and creative dance into the studio, because I want to help people let go of all that judgment and that self-criticism while they're learning how to dance, because that can be so restricting. And it can really hold someone back from a very normal process of it just taking time of the body to learn the movements and to create all that cellular memory for it.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about your class that you're teaching, and let's let people know what's going on there at JJ's.
Sure. So for my class particularly, as I made my way around the dance community, it's a really great community. A lot of people, everybody knows each other, very committed group of people. It's a great people. So first of all, for anybody who wants to be involved in a community group, the dance community is a great community to be involved in. Really wonderful, beautiful people. Everybody loves the dance. They're there for the dance. And as I was integrating into this community, I noticed there were a lot of most of the classes are out there, all structured dance, Latin dance, ballroom dance. There's lady styling. I went to a lady styling class at one point, and I was feeling very self-conscious and very frustrated because it was a lot of patterns of movements I hadn't yet learned. So as I kept on dancing, I teamed up with a 36-year dance instructor, very well known in the community, and we decided to open the studio. And I decided, based on my own experience and then what I also noticed in the dance community, I really want to help people. If they're in a dance, I want this to be a happy, enjoyable experience. I don't want it to be where it was for me a lot of times, where I was very frustrated. I almost quit a few times. I felt like I couldn't do it. Going to socials and sitting there and watching other people dancing beautifully and feeling very incompetent. I started just taking note of all those ways that all those kind of negative feelings that came up. And of course, they motivated me to keep going and keep learning. So I didn't have those feelings and I could dance better and better. But I thought, how wonderful would it be if we could just go dancing and be motivated to stick with it because we're loving it and having fun, not because, I look terrible and I need to keep doing this so I can try to look better. So with my background as a psychotherapist and being trained in creative and expressive arts therapy and so forth, there's actually a field of therapy that uses dance and movement. And it's really to do that. It's to help people work through emotional feelings that are keeping them stuck and locking their bodies up. And so there's a whole explanation for that too, that we hold on. All those negative feelings will lock up our muscles so that we can't really move as freely. So I thought, with everybody feeling so, all these feelings trying to get these dance movements, I started noticing in myself that the more anxious I got, the less I could move well. I started noticing when I was out dancing with my dance partner, if I started getting really anxious about everybody watching me or I missed some steps, I would get upset about that. And then all of a sudden I couldn't dance as well through the rest of the dance. I was missing more and more because my body wasn't working right. And I would say, come on, body, work. Why aren't you working? And it would just freeze up more and more. And that would happen in class. It would happen out in socials. And then, when I really started all my research and getting into this and realizing, the body will do what's called armoring. It freezes. All those emotions actually freeze the body. And I thought, wow. So if we can get everybody really loving and getting rid of the self-judgments and not worrying about messing up and just loving this and having fun with it, then how much faster will their body be able to learn the movements? And so I worked on it with myself. And I tell you, there was a freedom and a liberation in myself when I would go dancing that I can't even describe, when I just stopped worrying about if I was doing it right. And I thought, that's it. I want to bring this to people in this community. I want people to have fun and feel free with this. And then when they do, they'll not only have more fun and be easier and gentler with themselves, they're actually going to learn it faster and quicker because their bodies will just be free to do so.
Well, I can't wait to get there.
I know. Trust me, I still have moments where I'm like, oh, I didn't get that. But I go, no, don't worry. Let's just have fun. I'll get it. I'm not going to worry. I'll get it. Because that's what happens in dance when you stick with it and you keep going. You get it. Your body gets it because you're building up cellular memory. So I developed this class that really is about dancing from the inside out. It's about learning how to really love the body, allow the body to communicate and speak its own language and move the way it wants to, and feel freedom in that. So that when people are in structured dance settings, they can remember that freedom and they can have it there too. And I've seen it working. Some of the people have come to my class. I've been on lessons with them in the structured dance. And I see them all tight and, they're almost a little frown and their shoulders scrunched and anxious look on the face, trying to do a movement. And I say, hey, listen, smile and have fun. This is fun. And they smile and their shoulders go down. And all of a sudden they were able to do the movement they just weren't able to do. It's been amazing watching it actually happen. I thought, I want people to experience this joy of dance.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I'm working on that.
I am too. It is definitely a process, right? It's a process.
It's you too.
Well, the other wonderful thing about this is when we start really learning how to go easy on ourselves and be gentle with ourselves and just go with the flow, so to speak, it actually filters out into other areas of our lives. Yeah. When we notice how we're treating ourselves and how our stress and all these negative emotions are, what it's doing to our body and our mind, when we learn that in the dance studio, we suddenly become aware of that everywhere else that it happens. Mm-hmm. So this isn't just something for the dance studio for the moment. This is life-changing experiences that I want to bring to people.
Yeah. So how does moving the body through dance change your life?
So we are born to move our bodies, right? Children love to dance. Even little babies, when they cry, they cry and their whole bodies are moving. Animals will shake things off, right? They shake their body to shake stuff out. So our bodies are meant to move. And when we can dance and be free of the negative emotions that we hold within ourselves and our bodies can become free, the movement actually works all of that out of the body. Everything's connected, the mind and the body. So dance and movement is actually connected to areas of the brain that hold stress and trauma. In the unconscious mind, into the areas that hold all these emotions, that's where all of that is held. And moving the body accesses those areas of the brain. So I work individually with people too, because I find that some people will say, wow, all that free movement, I really felt a lot of emotions coming up. And so, of course, I say, yes, it's going to do that, and we can work individually because I can help that get worked out of the body for you. I can help you, guide you, working that out of the body. And so that's just sort of a simplistic way to describe how movement is connected to our brain and our emotions and why the movement will actually unlock all of that.
And how therapeutic is that to be able to release and let go and just move on?
Yeah, I've personally experienced a lot of different types of therapy. I've always been the type of therapist that I wanted to experience it myself so I knew both sides of what this was like. And I've done a lot of different types of therapeutic interventions and coaching situations. And this is by far the most profound and impactful way that moving the body, even you don't have to even be thinking about it. It just works things out. It just works it out. It just accesses deep, deep, deep stuff and gets it out of the body. And of course, a person can choose how deep they want to go with it. Some people don't want to do that. They want to just have fun dancing. Great. I'm going to teach you how to not judge yourself and how to feel great and have fun doing it. And you don't have to worry about what anybody's doing or if anyone's watching you. If somebody comes in and says, yeah, I feel a lot of grief coming up when I do this dance. Okay, well, I can tell you how we can keep working that out so that can be done and gone. And it's done through movement. Moving the body just unlocks all of this. It's amazing.
Now, you have here that you worked with children. Did you work with children through dance?
I have not done formal dance with children. Okay. I've done expressive work with children. So there's been some movement that I've done with music and then art and things like that.
Okay. That helps children to release, to any kind of expressive art, depending on what they're interested in, whether it be dance, whether it be instrumental music, art. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's kids' language. It's all of our language, that our body has a language and it wants to speak it. It's not necessarily, it's play. It absolutely is. And kids communicate through their play. So as adults, I might be moving the body and noticing some emotions come up. And, I might want to talk about that after because we connect it to our logic brain. And that's great. That's actually very helpful. But kids don't need to do the talking about it. They work it out of their bodies. Their bodies express it. And so it's amazing. And it brings the element of play back. I think everybody who has gone and danced can say they have felt moments of just being able to be a kid again, just moving the body and moving to the music. It absolutely brings play back. It's a very kind of universal thing in the Western world anyway, where we kind of lose our playfulness through life, whether it's experiences as kids or just life kind of does that to us, right? We have to start being responsible and we have to start doing all these things that life throws at us. And we kind of forget how to play. And that's another area that I'll be bringing my class into. And that's what the creative dance will do, is it brings that element of play back that we all need to have to feel joy.
Let's take a quick break.
Calling all wellness professionals in Flagler County and the surrounding area. The Flagler Wellness Expo is a community event dedicated to empowering our locals to live a happier, healthier, more balanced lifestyle. We would love to include your business. To find out more, contact us at intuitivelivinginstitute.org/expo.
Absolutely. Yeah. Some of us forget how to play. We're so busy with our lives, so busy with our families, so busy trying to keep your head above water, deal with different things going on, stresses in life, and we forget how to play. So how simple is it to get out there and dance and enjoy that? So I know that when I go to socials or I go out to dance, it's so different than any other kind of social interaction because everybody's there to dance and have a good time for the most part. And when you're out there on the dance floor, it's just continuous enjoyment, having that social connection if you're partner dancing or even not, if you're not partner dancing, and just feeling the beauty of the art of dance without worrying about anything else. You don't have to sit there and have a conversation with people. A lot of people have anxiety, like at parties and stuff, about sitting there and talking to people, for a couple of hours. It's not like that when you go out dancing. Everybody's there to dance and have a good time. And you're not getting involved in the drama of people, long conversations, unless you want to, but you don't have to. We're there to dance. We're there to have fun. And that's what it's all about. Everybody's there for the same thing. And that's
what's drawn me to it. That's what's drawn me to it too. It's like people are like, I don't have time to play in my life. I know we don't. Everybody's busy, right? What I love about the dance scene with the socials and the classes is that you're kind of combining everything all in one place at one time. Your exercise, your social interaction, your joy, your play. It's not like you have to go to all these different places to get all these different things. It's one place that you're hitting everything. Great music and enjoying music, socialization with people, moving the body and getting the exercise, working on all this great brain stuff that's happening when you're moving the body this way. And then with the socials, you're absolutely right. People are there to dance. And you can just sit back and watch people dancing and enjoy it. Mm-hmm. I remember doing that before I linked into my dance community. I saw everybody dancing. I sat back and just enjoyed it. And that's when I said, I want to be part of this.
I did years. Mm-hmm. It's like, gosh, I want to learn to dance. And it took me this long to finally, get out there and start doing it. But now that I'm doing it, I'm having the time of my life. I just want to.
Oh, we're so glad to have you. Yeah, we're so glad to have you. And everybody's really cool in our dance community because there's so many people. They love new people. They'll bring you out and say, come on. And you might say, well, I'm just a beginner, but they love it. They're like, oh, I'm so glad you are. Come on. And it's really, I think people are respectful. If someone's kind of sitting there and just watching, you can absolutely just say, no, I'm not ready. And it's okay. And people are fine. But they're also so encouraging.
Yes, very much so. Yeah. Just got to find yourself a good teacher, right?
Yes. And you can go around to all of them until you find the one that clicks.
Yes, absolutely. Here's a question for you. What was your biggest failure in life and what did you learn from it?
Wow. Great question. I've had a lot of little failures where like maybe I didn't do something the way I wanted to or didn't pursue something that I wish I kind of did now. There's all those things, but I think this would be probably related to my taking care of my father through his death. And I don't even know if I want to say failure because I'm trying to learn to have like forgiveness for myself. The things I teach my people, what I want to spread, I need to practice that myself to be able to teach that. So I try to really forgive myself, but there's a lot of things that I wish I did a little bit differently while I was caring for my father through his death that I really would have had no way of knowing until kind of after the fact. So I have a special place in my heart too for people who have a lot of loss and grief because of understanding that. So I don't know how much detail you want about it, but that's just one area of where I feel like might have been, that I wish I could go back and do some things differently.
Do more or do less?
Probably different. I think it's hard for family members when they're caregiving their own family through their death. It's very exhausting. There's a lot of dynamics. My dad got real ornery at the end. I was still the little girl that didn't have her dad the way she needed him.
Yeah.
And then with his loss, I was able to move through some of that grief and see things from a more mature perspective now and see that dynamic. And so I talk to him now and I say I'm sorry. And of course, he'll always tell me back there's no need for that. But I think, life's a learning process for all of us. And we're always going to have things that we wish we did differently and that we just try to do different as we move forward, right?
Yes. How long ago was that?
2016.
Okay.
And interesting you ask about that, and interesting that I bring that up synchronistically, because that's actually some of the themes that have been coming up in my own movement. As I'm doing my work with my students, the movement will just unlock things that your body's ready to deal with. So I'll be going into teaching this as well, is that, you can go as deep as you want with this or keep it as light as you want. But if you feel things that come up when you're doing your movement and your dance, just let it flow. It's just stuff that wants to come and wants to just pass through and just go on. It's just moving out of the body. Some of this is what's been coming up for me.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't know what's going to come up. You really don't know what's buried deep in there that's bothering you. You may think that you've worked yourself through it. You've gone through your grieving process and you set it aside and you think you're okay with it. But then all of a sudden something happens and it comes up again. And
yeah. And you realize it's not gone, right?
Yeah. So, it's okay to cry and let things out. Nothing wrong with that, right? We have to respect our emotions. But what a great way through dance to get things to come up and just dance it out of your body.
Amazing things happen when you have a trusted person to witness this process for you and help guide you using imagery and symbolism to dance this stuff out of your body.
Yeah.
Amazing things happen. And it's not like someone might think where you're just miserable doing it. It is not that way. The brain just goes into this sort of almost daydreaming zone as you're moving because you're just letting the body move and it just works itself out. It's not even a terrible process. It's like you're dancing and it's just coming out. It's really very cool.
A lot different than just crying. I mean, yes,
yeah,
to cry, but a lot different than just crying and letting it out.
Yeah, sometimes the crying isn't even needed if it comes out of the body in different ways. And then sometimes it does come out by crying. And that's what I really am wanting to bring this class to the next level of people who want to take the journey deeper, because I've had some people say, wow, some stuff's coming up. And I'll be taking this further by holding classes where we have a group that we go through together, that I help people who come to the class, my students, work that out, because there's strategies and ways to help guide that coming out. And really, ultimately, it's so that we can live the most joyful life we can.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So tell me, do you still do marathons and triathlons?
I have replaced all of my physical activity. I have channeled it all into the world of dance. It meets all of it for me.
Nice.
So I don't anymore.
Okay, but you had mentioned to me that you're also a swimmer.
I am a swimmer, and that's where my love was. I was a swimmer, and I feel like that's probably where I've been able to have some of the flexibility in my body for some of the movements is from the swimming. Because I would be the mermaid in the water. And so I really love the swimming. Swimming is my joy. And I actually do still continue swimming. I do have a lap pool in my home. And of course, I'm not right now because it's cold. But when it warms up, I'll be back in the pool swimming to keep, muscles supple and that flexibility going. So swimming and dancing.
Awesome. What a great combination. Do you surf?
No.
No surfing yet.
No surfing. Do you surf?
No, I haven't surfed yet. But I'm thinking about it this summer. I have a friend who, she has a bunch of women come out to the local beach here in Flagler and tries to get them to surf, helping them find their balance on the board, get familiar with the waves and how your body has to adjust. It's great for the core of the body.
Yeah.
The leg muscles when you stand up, feet muscles, there's so much that could help with dance because, you're trying to keep your balance and you've got to move and stay up there. So I think I might try that this summer.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, with my friend.
That sounds wonderful.
She just started last year, I think was the first year, she started a tournament just for women surfers. Yeah, the first of its kind here in Flagler. So
I love that.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to happen again this coming summer.
I love all the women empowerment we have going on lately everywhere.
Yeah, we do. We do. We can do anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Okay, so I always like to ask my guests about goals for my listeners. I'd like for you to set some kind of a goal for them, and it can be in dance if you'd like to, and how to get there.
So if any of the listeners out there would like to try dancing, I want to encourage you to look up a dance studio in your area. Of course, we'd love to have you at JJ's Dance Fusion, but look up a dance studio and do not feel shy about going yourself, because group classes consist of everybody. Sometimes there's couples there, but most of the time it's all single people. You meet people right away and quickly get to know people because you're rotating while you're learning the patterns. And usually the dance instructors are really friendly and really warm and welcoming. And it is a really gentle environment to go in alone if you go by yourself, or grab a friend and say, hey, let's try a dance class and go in. And most places have packages, or you can just go for the night. And so I just really recommend, if anybody would like to try dancing, it's really a wonderful, wonderful, joyful activity. I'd be welcome to talk to anybody who would want to call me, who wants to get started and doesn't know how, because I am fully, as you can tell, I just fully endorse finding a hobby that you love. And for most people love dancing. And if you feel like, no, I can't dance, I've got 2 left feet, you are the perfect person to go to a dance studio, because the dance classes are for people with 2 left feet. That's exactly what it takes. A little time. Everybody has rhythm. The body has rhythm, no matter what anybody thinks. So I really just encourage everybody, if you want to try it, to just get out there and jump into it. Try a class or 2. Get to know people. Like I said, bring a friend.
What I like about JJ's, you have almost every night of the week different dances that you guys teach.
Yes, we do. We have Rhythm and Smooth Mondays. So that's for everybody who loves ballroom. We rotate through all the ballroom dances. So right now we're doing waltz and swing, East Coast swing. The swing dances are super fun. So yes, waltz and East Coast swing on Mondays. Actually, most of the experienced dance instructors from our area are teaching out of our studio. So we have a lot of different dance instructors teaching out. So Monday is VRL and Angela. highly, highly sought after for their ballroom skills. Wonderful teachers. So it's ballroom night Mondays. West Coast Swing with Lewis is on Tuesdays. West Coast Swing is so fun. You can do that to almost any dance and a lot of popular dances. West Coast Swing, anything from jazz, blues, country, R&B, dance, contemporary, top 40. You can dance it to all that. And we have both a beginner and advanced lesson and a social on Tuesdays for West Coast Swing. We have what's called World Dance Wednesdays. That's where we want to honor all of the different cultures of the world and all the beautiful dances, because most of the dances we have today, almost all, have their origins in other cultures. So we honor all different cultural dances on Wednesdays, and we rotate through those. So we do everything from salsa, bachata, we do tango, Argentine tango, zouk, kizomba, mambo. So we're going to go around the world on Wednesdays. We have those classes, and those are really fun too. And then we have a special this month, and we may continue that into March. We'll have to see, but we have Ladies' Night on Thursday, and that's where we bring all of our women together, and we focus on mind, body, and movement. That's dancing from the inside out, feeling comfortable with ourselves, comfortable in the dance community and in the dance environment. And then we have another instructor that teaches burlesque. And burlesque is such a fun dance. It kind of teaches you how to walk really sexy and sexy moves in the dance. And burlesque has a very interesting history. So we do that throughout the week. We are going to probably offer hip hop in the near future, hip hop dances. And we have a line dance instructor that will do line dancing for us sometimes, so that we have a lot of pop-up events. And then we have a lot of different socials that we offer. We have a country western social every month. We have a Latin social every month. We have ballroom socials and tea dances, and we are starting to bring in live entertainment. So we have some singers. We have our Jazz, Blues, and Souls social every third Saturday of the month, and that's for all the swing dances and jazz enthusiasts, and we'll have live entertainment there. And so we have some ideas for some pop-up events, too, that are going to be really fun. So we'll do some like Dancing for the Decades. We'll do some 80 events, 70s. We're looking at doing maybe a Gatsby event. So we are always trying to keep it fresh and make it interesting. And again, you don't have to have dance experience to come to these. These are socials where we have great music. We offer refreshments and appetizers, and everybody socializes, or you can just watch the dancing. So it's really fun.
Yeah, what a great variety of dancing going on that anybody can come and join in. That's great. Yeah.
And if there's a dance somebody wants to do that you don't see a class for, we will make one.
Wow.
I want to do flamenco eventually. I want to bring some African dances in. So we have some talent in this studio that can actually teach anything. Mm-hmm. So if we have an interest in the community in a specific types of dances, we will make classes for that.
That's awesome. Something for everybody.
Yeah, something for everybody. Then if someone doesn't want to do a group, there's always individual lessons where actually your dance skill increases really quick through individual lesson, because you get that sole focus of the instructor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot to learn from having an instructor for sure.
Yeah, it's just like having a personal trainer to tell you how to do, the exercises right and help coach you through them. It's the same thing.
Exactly. All right, Jen, is there anything else that you'd like to talk to our listeners about?
I don't think so. We talked about a lot. I would love to be able to see some people coming in who want to experience dance, and you're welcome to give my information to anybody you want, Angela, if anybody would be interested.
We will have all your information in the show notes for anybody who would like to get a hold of Jen and maybe immerse themselves in some wonderful dance opportunities.
Yeah, try something new. Yeah, do it as a try something new. Bring a group out. Let's just try something new. That's actually how I got back into it.
Yeah.
I had someone drag me to a dance class when I had been doing all the marathons and stuff and was away from dance for a little bit.
Listen to that. Okay, how long were you not dancing anymore before you started again?
I had a period of my life where I just really focused on the triathlons. You know how that is. You got to train pretty hard for those. So it was several years, but I always found little opportunities here and there to go like Latin dancing, like just out social. Yeah. So I've always danced, but not like formal instruction or anything. I took quite a few years off. It was probably about maybe 10 years. In that 10 years, I did some social dancing here and there. So that was my triathlon and marathon days. They gave me great legs. You said that looked great. So thank you for that, because I feel its tone.
Absolutely. Yeah, you earned it. You look great.
And by the way, we've got some students in our studios in their 90s that are actually like the best students. And so it's like a testament. What I want to leave everybody is this is actually an activity. The triathlons and marathons, it wasn't realistic for me to be able to continue that probably for the rest of my life. My knees started, kind of hurting a little bit, and it was just a lot of training. Dancing and anything like dancing, but dancing specifically is actually something that you can take up now and you can do for the rest of your life because there's modifications you can make. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be doing performances like Dancing with the Stars. I mean, there's all levels of dancing in this community, and we have people in their high 90s still dancing amazingly.
Yeah, and not only is that great for the mind and the body at that age, but also the social aspect. As you get older, especially at that age, 80, even 70s, 80s, 90s, people start losing their loved ones, their friends, and they find themselves alone. But when you've got a hobby like this, you're always going to be surrounded by people. Even if they're not your age, how wonderful is it to be surrounded by people of all ages and everybody interested in the same thing?
That's what's so amazing about this. We have all ages. We have young people and we have the older people and everything in between. And it's the love of the dance. And everybody shares that. And there's so much love for each other because of that. And it absolutely is that if somebody is in their older years and experiencing loss, it's a very hard thing to have to adjust to, that this is the perfect place for that. And for the young people wanting to learn to do an activity, I've got 3 young girls just out of college who tell me, we don't like to drink, we don't like the bar scene, but we love music, we love to dance, and they're in our studio because of the group of people. It's all ages. It meets the needs of every age level for hobby, activity, a sense of accomplishment, a sense of competency, that socialization, and warding off loneliness and keeping the mind sharp. So for every age level developmentally, it meets needs in every level. It's amazing.
Dance. It's a wonderful thing. All right, Jen, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate you saying yes when I asked you, and you were so excited, and it's been great. I know that my listeners are going to gain value from everything that we've talked about, and hopefully come and dance.
Thank you so much for having me. I was so thrilled when you asked, and we love having you in the dance studio. You're a beautiful dancer, and I love that you're in my creative dance because your body moves amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and I hope to get to see you soon.
You will, for sure.
This is Angela Grayson from the Loving Life Fitness Podcast to help others in their fitness journey. All possible.
It's time to wake up.